house reading is me reading the energy of your house. So depending on how old your house is, there's going to be more energy associated with it. Because as a medium, the only thing I speak to and M speaks to is energy.
Hi, I am.
And I'm Liv, and we're your Meta PsycKicks.
We're in a new space.
Is our new thing. What is it called? A studio?
Yeah.
I've been calling it office because this is the studio section, but this is the office section. You know,
it's
like
in a closet. Her desk is in a closet.
What is it? Business in the front, party in the back?
We're doing a house reading on Liv's new house, which is why we're in a weird place.
It's gonna be great. This is gonna be a different color, so I don't judge, but we're working on it.
Liv has anxiety about reading her house.
I do.
Because she thought it would be squeaky clean, but there are things in it.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are curious, we offer a house reading service on our website, and you do not have to have a haunted house in order to book that reading, because your house in itself has an energy, and as psychic mediums, we have the ability to speak to the energy of your house. You want to explain that more?
Yeah, so most people think that a haunted house reading or a house reading, it's not a haunted house reading, sorry, cut that out, beep. A house reading is me reading the energy of your house. So depending on how old your house is, there's going to be more energy associated with it. Because as a medium, the only thing I speak to and M speaks to is energy. And that can be confined within physical aspects. So your house is a great example. Like if you live in a super old house, that house is going to be a sounding board or sponge, something that takes up all the energy of the years that have been lived in that house. So if you want to talk about certain things or know certain things about your house and your house wants to talk about it, that's really cool. But if you got something weird in your closet or you think you got something weird in your closet, that might be a little bit of a haunting. But hauntings aren't bad. It's just a word.
I also feel like if you have an older house, you're going to have a soul in there. And it doesn't mean that the soul's going to like throw things across your room.
Yeah.
They just lived there before and they like to come back and look at it.
Yeah. They just exist.
How long have you been living here?
Just over a month. Maybe almost 2 months.
Yeah, so when Liv moved in, or when we were looking at the house, she didn't feel as if there was anything in the house, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much a brand new house.
I got this feeling of like a nice light blue. Like everything was very like quiet, like a cloud almost. And that everything was very much like the house has a male presenting aspect, but it's very passive in the way that it presents things. And it's like, I'm just a baby and I don't have anybody that's ever like molded me before. Because the way the house is structured is it's very much like a starter home for people. It can definitely be something that a full family can live in. However, it will be cramped. But I don't think anyone's ever put their heart and soul into it because they've known that they're gonna leave.
That's why the house is so weird.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is fine. That there's no one in the house. Not that I could feel really. And it seemed very quiet and almost like everything got absorbed into it. But I didn't take it that way. I just was like, it's fine. There's also a lot of things in the house. The way the people had the house structured, there was things on the walls. There was huge giant couches, like giant sectionals that literally took up the whole room. They would put curtains in front of every window and like desks.
Were those the things that muted everything in the house?
Yeah.
Got you.
They covered it up. They didn't put like their heart and soul into it or like any of their love. They just put things in it.
Yeah.
Because people are very thing oriented.
Yeah, so we were doing a TikTok live the other day and we were reading people's auras and she's like, why don't you listen to people's auras? And I was like, well, because your house is making this horrible noise and it's coming from your upstairs, which is the other room, her bedroom. That's where it was coming from. But the reason why it's so loud in that room is because there's a lot of stress going on in there because they spend a lot of their time in that room. And this house, because it didn't have the like love put into the house itself, reflects everything almost like a house of mirrors. So Liv, being a psychic medium, can hear clairaudiently voices in the house, but there's nothing there because it's literally the residual voice of something or someone bouncing throughout the walls because it can't be absorbed anywhere else.
But it's really weird because I know people have asked us about like ringing in their ears and things like that, and that's not for this video. We can explain it. But for me, I don't usually get ringing in my ears ever. And since I've moved into this house, I've had the most ringing in my ears as a medium in my entire life.
Because your entire house rings.
I know, and it's really weird. And it's more when I'm like stressed out or overwhelmed that I start to notice the ringing in my ears, and I have to be like, okay.
It rings because it's a conglomeration of a lot of sound coming together. And that's why it makes a certain ringing sound.
Yeah. Well, we also think that the people that have lived in this house before us had a lot of like anger and yelling, and I didn't think about that when I was moving in. And now that I have moved in and seen everything, they very much like kept things nice on the outside, but everything was dirty on the inside. And Em brought up the proponent of, she's like, I hear like people screaming and yelling at each other. Like there's a lot of anger and like hatred, and it's just bouncing back at me, but I feel like it's coming out at me too. And I was like, okay. So I feel like the house was giving you its perspective of how it dealt with things. And then you're also hearing it. Like you're hearing it psychically, but you're understanding it from the house as a medium because you're talking to it. And then I found as we were opening and closing doors, because we were repainting the doors, that on the inside of the door jambs, or like the walls, what is it called? The frame, the door frames?
Yeah.
There are split marks on like 2 or 3 of the doors in our house, which equates the door being locked and someone forcibly opening it. And I came from a household with a lot of abuse, and I know that only happens when you're trying to lock yourself in a house away from an abuser and they try to get in.
Cool! She didn't tell me that before, because during that TikTok live, I told her that I could hear screaming echoing through her house. So what spirits do you think are in your house?
So since I moved in, I have perceived an older man. He wears like a flannel shirt and like brown trousers and a belt, and he's like a medium build. He kind of has like a square body type, like the little old man from Up, and he has brown hair that's like sandy. I don't know why he's here. He's telling me yes you do, but I don't. And he's just a very like quiet, calming presence. However, it's still weird because I feel like I can't necessarily communicate with him. And he's like, you're going to today? Jesus. So I just try to ignore it, because everything in the world can have spirits in and around it. So who am I to, think that just because they're here, they're not allowed to be here? That's pretentious of me.
Is he a human? Like, did he live and then pass?
He shook his head and went like this, so I'm not sure.
Got it. I see him. He's like bigger-ish, and behind him, everything shakes. He makes things still. Because everything, like, there's a bubble around him, and the things around him are still, but behind him, that's your house.
Yeah, because I always get a very quiet feeling from him. So
that's why you need to talk to him, because he makes things still. Like, he makes me feel like I'm in a trance.
Yeah.
Like, when I move my eyes around, it's like things trail. Like, time isn't moving. You need to talk to him.
Okay. Let's get to the other spirits first.
Okay.
And the second one is the older woman that we're talking about. I don't know who she is or what she is. She also...
The older woman that's like the keeper of the house.
Yeah, she is very much like a keeper. But yeah, she just glares at me. You said it's because everything else is too loud and I can't hear her.
She's very quiet. She's one of the souls that I would be able to talk to, because I didn't see that man until you said something.
Okay.
Because he's gruff.
Oh.
That's why I saw the woman, because the woman is very passive and feminine.
Yeah, and she freaks me out. But I know she's not bad. I'm just like, okay, you have a lot of power and it's quiet. I'm just gonna walk away and not look at you. Like when a dog eats a cookie and walks into the kitchen and like they look at you and they're like, I know that I ate the cookie. I'm not gonna make eye contact. She will tell you
the secrets of the house, because she knows everything about the house.
Well,
it's like, when I talk to pets, I have a hard time talking to the pet, because I'm not entirely sure how to get psychic information. So I talk to the spirit that's with the animal, and they tell me things. That's what she's gonna do, because you have a hard time talking to the house psychically. She knows everything about the house, and she's easier to talk to because there's less things going on with her.
Got it. Okay. And then the last 2 things is the angry thing in the closet that used to be super loud, like the Voldemort coming out of physical things screaming.
You know the smell, Harry.
And then the Banshee woman, who also plays with the thing in the closet to try and get me to be angry.
What does the Banshee woman look like?
She has, I think, a red shirt and a long gray skirt, and her hair is sandy brown. I want to say she's like in her 30s or 40s, but she can make herself look older. I usually perceive her as older because it's more negative for me.
Yeah, I see her younger.
Yeah.
She doesn't bother me.
And her hair is down over her face, but it's like a sandy brown with like blonde streaks.
Mm-hmm.
And she is very quiet, but she wants others to scream.
And that's why you call her the Banshee woman?
Yeah, because we've talked about Banshee woman spirits before in different videos, but this one is a little bit different. I feel like she's the same sort of negative entity. However, Em and I have talked about how negative entities are associated with your life from time to time in order to teach you lessons. Oh, wait, I called you the other day after I got done. I think it was before reading or after reading. I was doing something up here, and I had Fennel in her little cage or the dog bed, and Sniffles was in here, and Fennel kept looking like right where you're sitting, and I knew the Banshee woman was standing there. I was like, you need to, because Fennel was like, I'm just gonna leave the room, and I was like, you're not allowed to be in this room, and make my dog walk out of it, because like I was perceiving what she was perceiving.
Yeah.
And Fennel's just like, I'm gonna head out. And I was like, that's not how this is gonna work. I was like, you can go over to the house next door. You can go anywhere else, or you could just sit here. But if you're gonna stay here, you gotta change your attitude, lady. And I wanted to call you because I could see her standing there, and I wanted to be like, hey, do you see what I'm seeing? And have you be like, I see the Banshee woman.
Does she switch?
In what way? Being nice and mean?
Mm-hmm.
That might be newer, because after I had that conversation with her of like, if you're gonna stay here, you need to shape up, because I'm not gonna have somebody that wants to scream at me, let alone make my dog feel like she can't sit in a room with me, because that's not acceptable. And she was like, she didn't leave, but I was like, you and your mama too, and your best friend, and everything else. Brad and I have been so busy between work, because he works 8 hours and then goes to school part-time in the evenings, and then I work 8 hours and then do Meta PsycKicks things with Em in the evenings and like future wife duties. So it's just a lot. So we haven't been able to move in and settle in as fast as maybe we have wanted to. And she's like, you need to like get things in your house to help quiet all of the screeching.
Yeah, because it's hollow, and if there's sound moving around everywhere, it's not going to be able to get absorbed. It's just going to keep bouncing around.
Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to do that, but it's been hard. It's more slow going than I thought. And but I've been trying to take more care of the house. And when I say that, I mean like energetically. So when I start to feel myself getting overwhelmed, unlike when it first started happening, and I would let like the anger flow through me, literally for no reason, because like you're at your house, you shouldn't be angry for no reason. I would have to stop and collect myself, recognize that whatever was in the closet and whatever the Banshee woman was maybe facilitating my anger. Is it weird to say that I try to do Reiki on my house?
No, you can do Reiki on everything.
Okay. Well, that's the only way I can explain it, because I know what I do with my energy colors is called Reiki now, so I figured I should use it in a sentence instead of explaining Reiki.
So, what do you do?
I have done it twice, but I put my hands on the walls and I try to envision blue energy coming out of the walls, and then I kind of like, I know this sounds weird, but I try to filter it out and then push it back in the correct manner. Because I feel like the house has a lot of blue energy still. Mm-hmm. However, it doesn't know what to do with it, and it's more high vibrational and skittery. So I let it give it to me, and then I bring it back in the way that it needs to be. Mm-hmm. Almost like a filtration system. And I try to put golden and pink light into it, because those are my OG favorites. And I also try, because I'm still a physical being, to express to it and anything's spiritual or otherwise that the house is okay, and that we're working on putting love and understanding into it and making it feel like it's a home instead of a house. But it's going to take time. And I'm like, I just need you to be patient, because I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other night when I, scolded the Banshee woman, I immediately afterwards, because I felt like I was getting overwhelmed, I put my hands on the walls and I was like, it's okay. You don't have to have emotions about this. Everything's going to be fine. Oh, and in addition to moving things in, I was like, to get rid of the weird thing in your closet, you need to just open the doors. Do you have the doors closed all the time? And I was like, yes. And she's like, okay, well, you need to open the doors. So I've literally had the doors to my closet in my bedroom open for 4 or 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a whole bunch of clothes in there that I've gone through and like put energy and intentions into, whether they're gone through and taken out or not. And now I have the door closed.
Yeah, because before it was like a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
You're trapping the energy in there.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but it's also, dark things are very physical energy.
And
can you buy what are those things?
chamomile flowers?
Yeah.
I could look on Etsy or something. I want to actually plant some outside and have them grow.
I think you need some in your house, alive.
Oh, alive?
Yes.
We can try and find some. But yeah.
Because that woman keeps showing me those flowers.
Mm-hmm.
They look like little daisy kind of flowers, but they're different.
Yeah.
You need those in your house.
Okay.
If you guys are interested in a house reading, it will be linked in the description below. And again, you do not have to have a haunted house in order to get a house reading. You just need to have a house.
Or an apartment. I mean, it doesn't have to be a house.
We also do other readings as well if you would like a psychic, medium, or tarot reading like we just showed you, or a combination of both of them. Again, that will be linked in the description below. However, next week, I don't know what we're doing next week.
We're supposed to be talking about how everything is energy, expanding.
Oh, are we
upon
doing the
idea
manifestation storybook characters?
of that you're just a thought and manifesting things into existence.
So, if you guys are interested in that content, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
We are your Meta PsycKicks.
The thing in the closet whispers really slowly. He's also like on the floor, like down here, when before he was like big. Now he's like on the floor.
That's good. Yeah,
He like slowly moves into things.
When he was bigger, I used to hear him like yelling.